Hello, and thank you for joining me on Cracked Open with Coach Kristen. I am Coach Kristen Fuller, and I am committed to helping you break free from old habits and old baggage that is keeping you stuck, stagnant, and way down here when you want to be way up here. This number one thing that I do, I catch myself doing, I'm just being completely honest with you. And I see it in my students and clients every single day that I work with another human because it is enmeshed in how our brain works. What is it? Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage shows up in a myriad of ways. It's that usually that little voice in the primal part of your brain that only cares about keeping you safe. It does not care if you want to be a number one author. It does not care if you want to manifest the love of your life. It doesn't even care if you got arrested for a DUI and you have to stop drinking. It doesn't care. It only cares that you are safe. And the way that little tiny primal part of our brain keeps us safe is by keeping us stuck. And one of the ways it keeps us stuck is self-sabotage. Here's how this looks. I'll use myself as an example. I have a commitment to show up here on YouTube every day in the month of May. Today is Saturday. I am mostly working from home. I'm dressed extremely casually, as you can see. Hair, very little makeup. Hair's kind of wild today. And I had a million reasons. My lighting, my desk wasn't cleared. Like, I had so many reasons why I could not film this today. No one wants to hear about self-sabotage on a Saturday, Kristen. I had all of the reasons. And then finally, I said, we're doing this. And you're going to use yourself as an example because you are self-sabotaging. And you're a coach and you should know better. That's not true. Even coaches make mistakes. And we constantly, consistently have to work on ourselves. But the number one way to change a behavior and get better is by acknowledging that something's got to change. So here's how self-sabotage shows up. It undermines your goals. I have a client who has a goal of moving their body 3 days a week for at least 30 minutes a day. And often in our conversations, they will say something along the lines of, I didn't do it because I'm listening to my body. The first couple of times I let it slide because I wanted to see if there's a pattern. And for certain, yes, there's a pattern. It starts off strong. The motivation starts off strong at the beginning of the week. And then by Thursday, this person's kind of like, yeah, I don't know, like 2 days, 3 days, why does it matter? I'm listening to my body. You're actually listening to that stay small, stay stuck primal part of your brain, which is connected to your body. True fact. So you're actually listening to your brain. The difference here, if you have an injury or if you had surgery or you need to listen to an injured part of your body, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about when you just plain don't feel like it. And I know that's what's going on here. So that is also what was going on when I went to record this video. And that is a natural human reaction to doing something that you're not yet used to doing. See, it takes time. It takes time, consistency. You have to keep doing it over and over and over in order to build a pattern for your brain to grab onto that and say, oh yeah, this feels good. Let's keep doing it. Our brain doesn't like to do shit that doesn't feel good. That's why a lot of people use drugs and alcohol. That's why I used drugs and alcohol back in the day, because I didn't want to feel certain things. Now, when you're in discomfort, that is when you grow. Today I was in yoga. We had to hold our arms up like this above our heads for, I don't even know how long, a long time, several minutes. Which doesn't sound like a long time, but try holding your arms above your head with your hands together and see how you feel after 3 minutes. Oh, and I think we were going like that too. It was intense. And I kept thinking, this hurts. Why am I doing this? Like, how much longer do we have? And that primal part of my brain started to sink in. And what helped me stay motivated to continue the exercise was two things. Two things snapped me. Love it. Ooh, I just love it. Yes. We're celebrating snapping out of self-sabotage. So I wanted to bring my arms down, which would have halted the exercise, would have halted my meditation. Like, just, I didn't need to. I wanted to, but I didn't need to. So like my client says, I'm listening to my body. If I were listening to my body, I would have put my arms down out of discomfort. Instead, I listened to my instructor who said, the body will adjust. In other words, Kristen, don't you dare put your arms down, because the body will adjust. And you're only putting your arms down because you're uncomfortable, not because you have to. When you don't put your arms down when you're uncomfortable, or when you don't press snooze 3 or 4 times because you don't want to get out of your warm bed, or when you don't listen to your body and you still go for that 30-minute walk or run or hike, then you are giving your brain and body, they are connected, the evidence that it needs to turn this into a positive habit. When we let self-sabotage win, it's almost as if we are clipping off. Hang on, I have a visual for you. This is a plant on my desk. It's a plant that I grew from a little clipping from another plant in my room. And now it's totally growing massively. It loves it here in the sun. Even new baby leaves up here. And I'm so proud of this plant. Now, for its growth to happen, it needs to be nurtured. It needs to be watered. Sometimes I move it around so it can face the sun. It doesn't have legs, you guys. It can't like get up and move. It doesn't have that capability. Although it can stretch for the sun, which it's doing, and I'm quite impressed. If I clip off these 2 leaves, I will be clipping its full potential to receive sunlight and grow. By giving into, I'm just listening to my body, or I don't have enough makeup on to film a YouTube, or I can't stop drinking completely because it helps me sleep. By giving into those modes of self-sabotage, you are clipping your modalities for growth. Just as if I were to clip that plant by the leaves. When we have a goal, it seems very far away until you take daily steps and have daily increments of growth toward that goal. As you do that, the primal brain that we've talked about in this whole episode, the primal brain starts receiving information. This feels good. This is helping me grow. This is getting me out of my rut. Another very truthful word for rut is comfort. This is getting me out of my comfort. So when I had to hold my hands up like this in yoga today, was it comfortable? Heck no. Was the bliss and shredded arms that I'm getting as a result of sticking it out worth it? Hell yes. It's totally worth it, because the saying, our bodies will adjust, is true. We are made. We are wired to adjust. We are wired for growth. We are wired for change. The primal part of our brain tries to keep us safe by mitigating all of that. And by mitigating all of that and shoving it down, you are keeping yourself from your full potential. Here's another thing self-sabotage is doing. It's distraction and procrastination. So self-sabotaging is like, oh, you know what? I don't have enough makeup on to film a video today. I'll do it tomorrow. Or tomorrow's Sunday. I'll do it on Monday. That's a work day. Okay, self-sabotage looks at procrastination or distraction as, oh yeah, yay, another day we don't have to do it. When you can override that procrastination, override that distraction. In order to make this video, my phone is in the other room, shut off, face down. No distractions allowed. I have a goal. Nothing is stopping me. Now, when we let procrastination and distraction take over, then we don't get out of the discomfort. The discomfort is the strongest right when you start to eke out of your comfort zone. Think about in the morning when you're waking up, right when you first start taking off your covers, you're like, it's cold out there. And you're like, I want to stay warm and cozy in my little bed cocoon. And then you get up and you get to have coffee and you get to start your day and you get to see the sun touching the trees, and it's magical and beautiful, I hope. Or you stay, you pull the covers up, you sleep in a little longer, you end up late for work. Sabotaging. When you can lasso. Okay. Filming says yes. When you can lasso your primal brain from keeping you from your goals, then you are giving that part of your brain, all parts of your brain, evidence that the goal that you have set for yourself is a worthy goal. You're giving your brain evidence that, yes, keep my toes pointed in this direction, brain, body, because that is the direction I want to move into. If you stay in bed, if you don't move your body, if you don't try on 30 days of sobriety, whatever's keeping you stuck, then you're going to stay stuck, no matter how good your intentions are. Only you know your intentions. Fun fact. Nobody else knows your intentions except you. And as you build evidence to your brain, to your body, to yourself, that this is a worthy goal for you to continue pursuing, as you build evidence, it becomes easier to do. That client who was having a hard time moving 3 days a week is now 3 or 4 days a week and wakes up and is like, yeah, I actually really look forward to picking out a little trail and taking myself on a hike. That's because that new neural pathway is being formed. When we override the self-sabotage, then we are letting an old way of thinking get overgrown. Just like when I go hiking. I was hiking in the redwoods, these gorgeous redwoods in my backyard. I was hiking in the redwoods just like that. And I was thinking about how if we completely listen to the part of our brain that wants to keep us safe and stuck, we lose our ability to ascend, to grow, to heal. And when we form these new neural pathways, it's almost like finding a trail when you're hiking in the wilderness, finding a trail that is totally well groomed. Like there's no poison oak on this trail. It's well groomed. You know exactly where it goes. It's an in and back, which is my kind of hike. Just saying, I'm like a 2-hour max hiker. Then you're likely to use that trail frequently because it's so ingrained. You know where it goes, you know where it comes back, you know how long it is. Now, say you go to the same redwoods and you're like, now that trail looks really cool. It goes toward the ocean and over the cliff. I kind of want to see what's over there, but it's not as well groomed. So you have to go check it out. There might be some poison oak that you kind of have to circumvent. But by listening to your instinct to try the new trail, you are rewarded with a gorgeous view. You are rewarded with a path that you haven't used before. And it led to amazing results. If I stayed on the well-worn trail, then that is the only trail I'm going to see in my whole time of hiking. And I don't want that. I don't want to hike the same thing over and over again. I want to see all that I could possibly see when I'm out on the trail. So the well-worn path is where self-sabotage likes to creep in. Oh, Kristen, psst, you don't want to go to that trail over there. I mean, yeah, it's gorgeous and you can see the ocean and everything, but there's like poison oak, dude. You don't want poison oak. And there's also, you know what? I heard that there was an infestation of banana slugs. You don't want to step on banana slugs, do you? That is an actual example of how the language goes in your brain when you're trying to form a new neural pathway. So it will constantly divert you from using the new trail, the new neural pathway, and you'll stay on the well-worn trail and you'll miss out on the ocean and the rainforest and all the cool stuff at the end of the new trail. When you start venturing on the new trail, your brain makes new evidence, which makes the next time you hike the new trail easier. Just like my client who now is like, I can't wait to get up and go work out or go run or go walk, run, or hike, because they've built that into their system. They're not procrastinating. They're not self-sabotaging. They're not listening to the primal part of their brain, and they're plotting a new course for themselves. And as they follow through with their commitment, just like me following through with my commitment today, not succumbing to self-sabotage as much as I wanted to, I am forming a new neural pathway. Hey, I love my desk this way. Hey, my hair's not that bad. It was in a ponytail all day. All things considered, we're doing good. So the next time I go to film, kind of off the cuff, I will have less chatter, because now the new pathway is getting worn in. This is so true for my viewers and friends and students and clients who are struggling with substances. It feels like the cravings are never going to stop. And that's because those come from that same part of your brain. When you get practice on overriding them, and you don't give in to self-sabotage, and you don't give into staying in bed and pulling the covers up over your head. You are rewarded by less cravings, less anxiety, less self-sabotage, which equals reaching your goals, increasing your sense of self, increasing your self-trust, increasing your sense of worthiness. You have nothing to lose. So the next time you set a goal and you go to try to take a step to achieve that goal, and you hear that little nagging voice, you have my permission to say, sit down, self-sabotage. I'm not having you today. No, I'm not listening to my body. I have goals. I have dreams. I have things that I want to actualize in my life. And by staying on the well-worn path where it's comfortable and predictable, none of that will be available to me. Likewise, by giving in to procrastination, you are clipping your leaves. You're clipping your wings. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Now you know how to do the workaround to get you onto the path with the ocean view, onto the path with the cool rainforest in the middle, onto the path of receiving evidence that you are moving in the right direction toward your goals in your life. If you need any help or guidance with any of this, if you want to work on any of the modalities that I've discussed, if you want to talk about different ways that you can really hone in on what is keeping you stuck, there are so many exercises and activities and modalities that we can do together if we have a chance to work one-to-one. I'm really looking forward to having these conversations with more of you. And I'm so grateful that you stuck around to learn how to stop self-sabotaging. Thank you for watching. Please like, share with your friends. Please, please, please subscribe. I love having you in this space. It is truly an honor. Thank you. Bye for now.